Welcome everybody to On the Q here with DQ. I am your host, Darius Quisenberry, and today with me I have a very, very special guest. Somebody I can call a friend, a mentor, a big brother of sorts. I'm not going to put him in a father figure. I ain't call him that old yet, but he's my new head coach now here, Mr. Keith Urgo. Welcome, Coach, to the show.
How's everybody doing? It's a great day to be a Ram.
Yes, sir, it is. Yes, sir, it is. This is a very special one for me, man. Obviously, our relationship has grown over the past year. We've been together and stuff like that. So it was very personal for me to get you on the show here and just kind of talk life instead of, we talk basketball, but I feel like we talk life too, but not in front of everybody. And a lot of people don't know the person who you are rather than the head coach. And that's the perspective I want to give them today.
I appreciate that, man. It's an interesting perspective. Obviously, family life is something I'm very passionate about, and obviously my connection to Fordham is all related to my family prior to ever becoming a head coach here or even a coach at all. So it's refreshing to be able to talk to you, and anytime we get a chance to just talk about life, it really becomes more important than actual on the court. So it's a privilege and an honor to be a part of your show. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for the future that you have in broadcasting and what Fordham has the ability to help you with.
Absolutely. And you guys see all this here today. So I came out with the new brand. I just partnered with the new clothing line. It's Darius Quisenberry Don't Quit brand, DQ, the 7 don't quits in life that I have on there. And then with the hourglass representation as well. Everybody runs their own life race. It's everybody's life race is not the same. And the problems that we have every day in life are not that big in the perspective of time. The problem that you have today isn't going to be the problem you have tomorrow unless you let it be. And I feel like that goes with the don't quit, because if you don't quit, you won't have that problem a year from now or 2 years from now. But if you let it drag on and you quit on yourself, that problem will stay there. But this is the setup here, and this is why we have the T-shirt, and every guest that comes on this show is going to get this T-shirt just like Coach Urgo is after the show. So let's get into it. This is a 30-minute hourglass. Let's start. So, Coach, like the first question I have for you, you're new to the head coaching world, but you're not new to coaching at all.
Yeah.
You've been at Villanova, you've been at Penn State, things of that sort. You were at Fordham last year as assistant head coach. And growing up, I've always had people tell me, oh, you're not going to make it D1, or you're too small to do this, you're too small to do that. Did you ever have people telling you, or the naysayers telling you, oh, you're good here, like you'll never be a head coach, you're good at an assistant, or people telling you, oh, you might as well just take this job because head coaching is probably not for you? Or did you ever at a point start to doubt yourself as well?
Yeah, you know what? Obviously, when you've done it as long as I have, I started in high school. I didn't get into coaching, at least professionally, until the age of 28 years old. So fortunately, I did have a lot of folks that were mentors of mine that were extremely positive influences, knew my passion for creating change through sports, specifically basketball. I've been involved with it since I can remember, honestly. And my high school job every summer was working Purple Eagle basketball camp at Gonzaga High School, where I went. I ended up starting my coaching career there, and with 4 years under Steve Turner at Gonzaga High School. And then, I got the opportunity. I started from the bottom, man. That's the real thing. I took an internship, which is no longer an internship, actually. The video coordinator job at Villanova back in 2007, I believe, was an internship. I lived in a dorm for 5 months after being married for over a year or 2 years at that point. So, but, when you do it for as long as I do, when you go through some of the struggles that we went through at Penn State, I was there for 10 years, and you get to a program from the bottom to the top 10 in the country, and you think you got things rolling, and then things take place where you feel like you're right back to the bottom again, and you're never really, certain on whether or not you're going to eventually reach your goal, which was, for me, always to become a head coach. And then, obviously, we had a great year last year. Next thing you know, out of nowhere, we're my family and I are like, oh, my goodness, what's going to happen now? Yeah. And I knew that we had made a decision, essentially, if I didn't win this job that there was a good chance that I might decide to get out of the coaching world, just because, I'm in my almost in my mid-40s. I got 4 children, and at that point, it's, I never wanted to be one of these guys who I respect these guys, but I never wanted to be one of these guys that potentially had to move away from his family just to continue to follow what my dream was. So I used to doubt myself every once in a while, but fortunately, I got an incredibly family base. I got 8 brothers and 1 sister. My parents are tremendous, and my wife is the best, and I'm my biggest fan, my biggest supporter. So she knew what we had sacrificed and for so long that she was willing to stick with it, and here we are.
Absolutely, I love that answer, and kind of just going off of that, we talk about every day the standard instead of culture. I like the word standard better.
Yeah.
Just because as a player, for me, I have my own standard. You know what I mean? That's why when people say,
yeah, we just got to get you healthy again, and eventually maybe you'll play a game. I feel like it's been like 3 years since you played, but no big deal.
Just played maybe like a couple days ago. Played in the Bahamas too, by the way.
Yeah, 1 game. One.
But no, seriously. I have my own standard for myself. So the standard, you've been to Final Fours, you've won championships.
Yeah.
So as a new head coach, is that what you're trying to bring here, that standard? You know what I mean? You said we had a good year. I feel like we had an okay year last year. So is that what you're trying to bring to the team?
You know what? Championships are for you to speak about.
Mm-hmm.
For me, our goal is to create a standard where, our student athletes come in and they become the best versions of themselves. And if our staff and our players help recruit high-level talented basketball players that we help become tremendous young men, both in the classroom and out in the community, well, then we feel like their performance on the court is just going to evolve into championships.
Absolutely.
We don't really talk about it too much. I mean, that's always the ultimate goal. You want to win at the highest level. But for us, we feel really strong about our standard becoming young student athletes becoming great men by the time and earning their degrees and becoming well-rounded human beings, who can pretty much succeed in anything they do. We feel like if we develop those unique and authentic relationships with our players, they're willing to do what it takes on the floor, no matter what it is, whether or not it's dive head first into a water cooler, or whether or not it's, not get a shot the entire game, but do whatever it takes to win basketball games for their staff, for their teammates. And as a result, championships or winning at a high level is a byproduct of just caring about each other and developing into what we all hope each member of our staff and our locker room becomes.
Absolutely. I feel like that goes with our saying too, attitude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Attitude is for life. It's not just on the basketball court. You know what I mean? If you get fired from a job or you don't get that promotion, you still have to have the right attitude, because you never know what it's going to lead to, and stuff like that. And it's kind of leading into my next one. My next question, you have a beautiful, beautiful little baby girl named Samantha, who was diagnosed with Down syndrome. But she examples the little time I've been around her.
Yeah.
She has exampled more than anybody I've seen attitude. You know what I mean? And that's why I feel like you show us every day. It's tatted on you and stuff like that. So please shine some light on that situation and all you do in different societies and stuff like that your family's involved in and you're involved in.
Yeah, you know what, man? I appreciate that. It's funny. It's ironic, and I'm one of those guys who believes that everything kind of happens for a reason, good or bad.
Amen.
Amen. We just happened to be talking about this today. Meanwhile, my wife Christy's in Samantha's school, Primrose Elementary up in Somers, today, speaking about World Down Syndrome Month and educating my daughter's classmates on Down syndrome. And what it means, obviously the 3 arrows and which represent the 3 copies of the 21st chromosome, and she does more than I do, but we've been involved. She's an ambassador for the Special Olympics. She's ambassador for the Buddy Walk and World Down Syndrome Society. We held a Buddy Walk every year in State College for the last 6 years prior to moving here. Now she's 7. We'd like to start that here through the World Down Syndrome Society. We didn't have enough time to get it done this year, but
I come back for that, by the way.
yeah, without a doubt. So that'll be a buddy walk. We're looking to kind of start that here on Fordham's campus probably next year and really make it something really special. But, for her, there's nothing quite like obviously coming home, no matter what happens, whether or not it's a bad practice, good practice, whether or not something went down off the court, whether or not, win, lose, you're always coming home to that smile. She just kind of puts some things in perspective a little bit, and it's amazing to me the joy. We always talk about, spread love. So every morning we talk about her getting out. Her job is to spread love. That's what her role in our family is, and her role in her classroom is, and she does a tremendous job of that. She doesn't really let anything faze her, and it's a great example for all of us in life. There's so many different things that we can't control. She couldn't control being born with Down syndrome, so but her reaction to it, her smile every day, her positivity and her energy is something really, really kind of infectious throughout our home and actually throughout our community. So it's just a great example, like you mentioned, of what attitude's all about. There's a number of things you're not going to be able to control in your life on a daily basis, but how you react to those things truly defines your character and what kind of man or woman you are, and the influence you might have on others.
Absolutely, and I feel like that also leads into my next question, to where you wake up every morning. Some days, and it happens to everybody, where you don't want to get up. It's a drag that day, or it's cold outside, it's snowing, you don't feel like going outside, going to the gym that day.
Yep.
What motivates you most every day to get up and be that everyday guy that you preach to me every day, being that everyday guy, being an example for the younger guys on the team, stuff like that?
Yeah.
What motivates you mostly every day to get up?
There's a couple things. Honestly, my family motivates me. Seeing Samantha every morning motivates me. The sacrifice and the incredible commitment that my wife and my family have made for me to follow my dreams and to become the head coach at Fordham. My parents, my father being one of the hardest working individuals I've ever been around in my life, being a Fordham alum, being a Fordham law alum, 59 and class of 62 law, obviously that motivates me to be successful here and to help build something really special here. You guys motivate me. The promise that we made to you and your families when we were recruiting you, those are promises we want to keep. We always talk about doing whatever it takes to help you become the best version of yourselves, and I got to bring that every day. I got to make sure that our energy and our passion for you and your teammates is fulfilled each and every day. If we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing, putting you guys in position to be successful, well then, we could be considered frauds. And honestly, we don't want anyone to leave here without reaching their full potential. That's a commitment we've made to you guys. Commitment we've made to your families, and honestly, the commitment we've made to each other. So that's, I don't know if it's a long-winded answer. There's a number of things that motivate me, but the responsibility that I have to lead this program. Ed Cole taking a chance on me. All of the wonderful alumni at Fordham and all the people that are excited to see us perform and represent the university, that motivates me. So there's just a number of different things, but I'm just incredibly proud to be here and to be the head coach at Fordham.
Yeah, a lot of people may not know your father went to Fordham, correct?
Yeah, he's a class of 59. He played basketball his freshman year in 1954. 60 class of 62 in law, so double degree here from Fordham, and so it's been ingrained in me. All of his college friends are his best friends in life. Still, he's traveling with one of them right now over in Europe. So it's just it's an incredible community to be a part of, a very proudful alumni base, and something I feel like we're very special to be a part of.
He got a law degree?
He got a law
Sheesh.
degree, 1959, undergraduate, 1962 law.
I know he got the brains, and
Yeah,
you did it.
yeah, no, you're right about that. I'll be the first to admit that. When you have 10 children, 9 boys, there's bound to be one that might fall off. Just happened to be me.
Yep. And if you're wondering why I'm wearing a do-rag today,
I am. And why it's gold
gonna,
nonetheless. I want to know why it's gold and not
and
maroon.
he knows why it's gold, and he hates this gold do-rag. Every time I wear the gold
Can't stand
do-rag,
it.
he says, "Why are you wearing that? It looks like honey mustard."
Yeah.
So but I'm gonna wear a different do-rag every episode, just a different color, just to get a different pop. But I wore this one specifically just for him because every time I wear it, why you have that on?
Let's make this clear. Let's make sure everybody knows our colors are maroon, right? Maroon, gray, white, either one. We're gonna talk about wearing some.
Colors.
We're gonna talk about wearing some black this year.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I know some folks might be a little
Gotta have that.
unnerved about that, but that's something we're pushing for. Actually, Darius Quisenberry is pushing for that, and
Absolutely.
so I'd like to see one of those do rags on your head.
Mm-hmm. I'll definitely wear one. Give me a Fordham do-rag. I'll rock that for
All right.
sure.
Yeah, there it goes. Hey, get it, don't quit, do rag. It's Fordham colors, man. Let's do
I'll
this.
start doing that. That's
Yeah,
a good
man.
idea. Matter of fact,
Great
it
idea.
makes all a bunch of different.
I'm right
looks.
here. I'll be your marketer, dude.
Honestly, do you have? I feel like in life we always go through things, and sometimes we say, "Oh, I wish I would have done this different. I wish I would have done this different." do you have any regrets going through your college coaching, or just, through your life in general, that you feel like you wish you would have did different, or you feel like you would have done everything the same if you had the chance to?
There are a number of regrets that I had maybe when I was younger. Some of the decisions I made when I was in college or just out of college, I wish I could get back. But quite honestly, I feel like all of those decisions and the results of those decisions have led me to this very moment right now. So I don't really, I'm a little disappointed in some of the decisions I may have made. But again, if you live every day whatever happens to you has some sort of meaning and there's a reason behind it, good or bad, you can't really live with regrets. You gotta, if you're gonna say that, you can't be a hypocrite and then say you have regrets, because honestly, I don't think without the decisions or maybe the results of the decisions that I may have made, whether or not they were good or bad at the time, they have led to me to being here at this very moment. So I feel like there's a reason for it, whether or not it took longer or a shorter period of time. All of those decisions, bad, indifferent, wrong, whatever it might be, good, they've led me to this very moment right here, which is obviously, I feel like I'm living a dream.
Absolutely, what God wants you to be. And I feel like that's what I live my life by. I feel like everything happens for a reason. We talk about it a lot. And
I know you've made some bad decisions, and you definitely should have some regrets, but we can talk about those offline.
I don't think we can talk about that right now. I've definitely have regrets in my life, things I've gone through, stuff like that. But I feel like everything has sculpted me to be where I am today and the man I am today as well. Yeah. Just trying to do different things, trying to create different venues. And in my job right now, I feel like for my family is trying to create generational wealth. And we've talked about it a lot. And also that's with you as well. So a lot of people always ask you, well, how is it going to be your first year as a head coach? How is it going to be this and that? I know you're going to be a good head coach for years to come. That's not my worry. I know what you're made of and who you are. So my question to you is kind of the opposite end. What does Keith Urgo look like 10 years from now, retired? Is it going to be an entrepreneur? Are you going to be a father figure? You're just going to be a father for your kids? Just be there? Or are you going to start basketball camps? What's it going to look like?
Well, that's a great question. I have different hobbies, right? My wife and I, we love to travel, right? I love to play golf.
Are you good though? Are you good at golf? You can love to play.
I'm not bad. I'm not going to say I'm not bad. I'm right. I'm right around a 7 handicap. That's definitely way too high for a basketball coach. So I want to keep that, or low, depending on how you look at it. You know what? Albie's a pretty darn good golfer, but when it gets down to it, it's all mano-a-mano on the course, and I don't lose in very much. So
I'll give you that.
I don't expect Albie to be able to beat me, regardless of whether or not he might, might have a better swing or whatever. Bottom line is you got to hit the shot right in front of you. You know, so I honestly, you know, you got to think a little bit more when you have a family. I don't really think about 10 years from now. I'd love to say that, you know, we had some success and I was able financially to support my family enough where I didn't have to work much more. But, you know, I don't know. I'm focused right now on today. And, you know, my goal 10 years from now is to make sure that my 11-year-old, who would be 21 at that point, is happy, successful, maybe in college, doing what he loves to do, whatever that might be, prepared to potentially graduate with a degree wherever he wants to be. You know, that's my ultimate job, is to make sure that I provide and I mentor, and that I'm just there for my children, and that in 10 years I'm hoping that all of them are heading in a successful direction, whatever that means.
Absolutely.
You know, as long as they're happy and healthy at that point in time. And maybe not living off me and my wife, that'd be great. But, you know, that to me is that my ultimate goal in 10 years is to make sure that my children and that my wife are in a position where we can enjoy each other and wherever that might be. That's really the only thing I think about.
Yeah.
You know, making sure that we're comfortable. Absolutely. And that hopefully everybody's healthy and happy at that point in time.
I feel like me and my dad have conversations about this daily, just about, I mean, being a leader, a father figure, no matter what, who it is. But when I have kids one day, whenever that is, you know what I mean, I feel like he's preached to me so much that my job would be that I have set the right example to where when I leave this earth, they know how to act as men or women, how to carry themselves, how to carry the family name. You know, and obviously, I obviously want to bounce things off you. Father of 4, so you've been around to have girls and boys as well. So, you know what I mean, for you, what does your definition of a good father look like for you?
Wow. You know what? Just being there. Just being honestly, the only thing we talk to our children about is living by what we call the golden rule, and we talk about it on a daily basis, and that's just treat people the way that you want to be treated. We believe that if we instill that in our children, that they're going to learn how to be respectful, polite individuals. They're going to, work hard, be a good person, and great things will happen. It doesn't mean you're going to make $1 million or several $1 million, whatever it is. I know you talk about generational wealth, but, you know, to me, you know, you can't just worry all the time about money. Absolutely. You know, obviously you want to be financially stable, but if I made every decision, at least professional decision, based off of trying to make more money, I definitely wouldn't be in the position that I'm currently in. Absolutely. You know, there are a heck of a lot of other things that we could have done, and because I you know, it's a partnership with my wife. Every decision that we make or that I make has to be bounced off of her financially and professionally, and you know, but I wouldn't have gotten into coaching if it was about money, right? I think wealth is also related to how you make others feel and how that makes you feel inside. And honestly, you know, I have no reservations that you're going to be successful in whatever you do. Your parents have done a tremendous job raising you, providing you the opportunities both on and off the court to live your dreams. You have your work ethic and your desire to be great in everything that you do has led you to this point. And the sky's the limit for you both on and off the court, quite honestly. You know, and for me, that's what it's all about. It's putting your kids in a position where they can one day have children of their own and be able to teach them the lessons that they feel necessary for their children to be successful. And again, success to me is just being happy and healthy. Yeah, it really is.
Absolutely.
Because if you wake up with a smile, you're having a great day, man. Yeah. And you know, money ain't gonna change that smile. You know, more money, more problems is definitely a cliche for a reason.
Absolutely. I feel like people say that money doesn't bring happiness. You know what I mean?
No, it doesn't. It makes things easier. Let's make it, everybody can get it. Don't get it twisted. It makes things a lot easier. You know, when you have money, you can make some different decisions. But, what are you doing with that money? You giving it to people, or obviously you need it for yourself, but we're all about giving back and giving back to your community, and it depends what you're doing with that money, honestly. So I want to make money to be able to support my family, but I also want to give back in different ways, and that puts a smile on our faces, my wife and I.
I agree with that, and I was just like going off of that, like how money doesn't bring happiness. You see, John Wall was just talking about it, how he was going through suicidal thoughts. For stuff, for 2 years ago, being injured and stuff like that. You see movie stars commit suicide every day who have millions of dollars. So obviously that money doesn't bring happiness, but obviously it does make stuff easier. But at the same time, going into my next question is, I don't think people realize it's hard on the head coach, but if you're married, how hard it is on your wife to follow you around everywhere, to support you in everything you do, not be able to see you a lot, but be having to take care of the kids and stuff like that. So just kind of shine some light on, the relationship between you and your wife, because obviously one day, for me, I would like to get there to where I have a great wife who supports me through whatever I do and can take care of my kids while I'm on the road playing or something like that. I can come back to her and we can just bond like we've never been apart. So explain something.
Yeah, there's nothing quite like having a partnership. We're we talk about a team. We're parts of teams, but my best teammate, my most important teammate, is my wife.
Amen.
And honestly, without her sacrifice and her commitment to me, it'd be very difficult to be where I'm sitting at the moment. She's never really fought any decision. She's like, wherever we end up, I'm with you. We're together. So, she's put her own career on the back burner. She went to school for photography. She's had her own business. But it's tough because when there's a very good chance you're going to be transient, and moving every once in a while, it's hard to create a stable business, and in Pennsylvania. Obviously, when we were working at Villanova and living in just outside Philadelphia, she had a business there. She was on top of. Well, actually, she started in Silver Spring, Maryland. When I was working at Gonzaga, she had a legitimate business, photography business. All of a sudden, goes a different direction. We moved to Philadelphia. She starts the business there. Then 4 years later, or 4.5 years later, we moved to State College, and then she was very reluctant. Then we started having children, so she put her business and her own career on the back burner for me to watch the kids, so I could go out and coach the way I was coaching. And then all of a sudden, we end up moving here as she started to actually build a business. As our kids were getting a little bit older, she started to build her business, and then all of a sudden we move here. Yeah. And now she's still, staying involved with the photography, and eventually she will crack that. Maybe 10 years from now, I'm her assistant. Yeah. Maybe that's something we do. She's unbelievable at photography, and right now she's like the team. My boys, my son Cody's team photographer, and she takes it so serious, and she does an unbelievable job, and all the parents are loving what she's putting on every week after their games. But there's nothing quite like it to have that support, to have that ultimate teammate. I'm very blessed. She's one of the most selfless people I know. And one of the most patient individuals I know. Doesn't make
patient with somebody like him.
Yeah, it doesn't make it easy, man. Doesn't make it easy. But it's there's nothing more rewarding.
Absolutely. And just going off of sacrifices, as parents, you have parents, I have parents. So my parents have done so much. Now that I'm older, I know what they sacrificed for me. My mom had to stay at home while my dad worked 3 to 4 jobs trying to provide food, clothes on our back. But I never went a day not thinking I was going to have a meal, not thinking I was going to have clothes, or my dad wasn't going to come home and play with me. Even though he had a long day at work, didn't feel like it, he still made time for me. So for your parents, do you realize, obviously you do, but how much do you now know what they sacrificed for you to be where you are?
You got to be. First of all, they had 10 children, 9 boys and 1 girl.
My dad had 10 too. My dad was part of 10.
Yeah, and we weren't the easiest to deal with, man. We weren't your typical stay-at-home dudes or my sister. We were active and competitive, and So the amount of time and energy and effort they put forth for their children, there is no greater example of how to be a father, how to be a mother, than I believe than my own parents. They gave us every opportunity to be successful, and I live every day right now trying to make them proud. Just a shining example of what it means to be incredible parents. So if I could do half of what they've done, if I could do for my children half of what they've given me, provided the opportunities for me, then I'd be Father of the Year. But I'm incredibly grateful and blessed. Look, we don't have the choice of where we grow up or where we're born, but appreciating it and being grateful for that, and understanding, thanking God for all the incredible blessings that we have, man, because we were given everything we could have ever dreamed of as a result of the hard work and dedication my parents had for their children.
Absolutely. And kind of going off of that, and it's just like in my mind with my father, right?
Yeah.
He's my hero. You know what I mean? He's the person I look up to, like you just said, the person, if I could be half the father he is to my kids one day, I would be beyond thrilled to be.
Yeah.
If there was one thing you feel you could take from your father to give to your kids that you like, and also one thing that he did that you did not like as well, because we learn some things as well from our parents, some things we like, some things we don't as well, some things we want to teach our kids, but also some things we don't. So what's one thing, and also one thing you would want to teach your kids that you are currently, and one thing you kind of switched up?
Work ethic. I mean, my father's the hardest working human being on the planet. And it's selfless. The reason why he worked so hard is because he wanted to make sure that he did everything to provide for his children. Mm-hmm. That's why he did it. I mean, that's as selfless of an act as you can possibly get. The man never really enjoyed anything individually. Whatever he did was for his kids. So that work ethic is something that if I could instill that in my children, then I know they're going to be safe, sound, and successful in whatever they do. That's just the bottom line. As far as what I wish I don't do, is I never, I don't want that belt. I got that belt, man.
Oh man, I got that too. Too many
times.
A
little bit different nowadays, man. You can't. It's crazy, but
I don't know. I still might whoop my kid. Don't put that on him. I might.
There's a difference between whooping them and maybe being a little stern. But I probably won't. I haven't taken that belt. I've thought about it, but I haven't taken that belt. There's really nothing that my father has done that I could say I don't want to take. I got to be honest with you. Other than that belt, but quite honestly, we should have gotten a heck of a lot more than the belt. We should have been. We should have been dealt much harder hands. I'm now thinking back, the belt was light work compared to what we actually deserved.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, you know what? They grew up in a different generation, so some of their thoughts, I don't think they're closed-minded. It's just, things are ingrained in you, and I think we're much more open now because of the resources and the information, the instant information that we have. Sometimes I wish we didn't have it, but there's not a whole lot that I wouldn't love to take from my father specifically. I respect him that much. Absolutely. And I'm grateful for everything that he's given me and all the wisdom he's instilled in me. I wish I had more.
Amen.
Yeah, man.
I can see that hourglass has ran out, Coach. I could talk to you for hours. Obviously, we do this every day, but I really appreciate you for being on here and taking the time just to be with me and just speak about life with me. Every time I get the opportunity just to talk to you about life, I love to take it just because I'm like a sponge because you've been through so much, and I love to just learn from you. And obviously, like I said at the beginning, you're a great mentor for me. And a great, big brother of sense.
I appreciate that, man. And honestly, I know we're coming to an end here, but, it's funny. You talk about everything happens for a reason, right? And all the people that have fallen into place in my life, I believe, are in my life for a reason, at whatever time frame they fell into it. And obviously, you're a huge, massive part of my life, not just my career. And I think it's incredibly special that, my first year as a head coach, you're the leader of this program. And honestly, I think that standard that you're helping create, I think that's going to ripple waves throughout the Fordham men's basketball program for years to come. You're a pioneer. We talk about being a trailblazer. What you're currently doing, I think, is going to be passed down to another basketball player each and every year. So you're helping create a standard that's, in my opinion, hopefully one of the best for years to come throughout sports, let alone college basketball. So we appreciate you. I just want you to get healthy and get back on the court so you can start performing at a high level again and help us lead. But I really thank you for having me on, man. And I think the sky's the limit for you. And I hope people go out and represent. Go listen to DQ's podcast and go purchase some of his merchandise. And it's pretty cool. I love the logo. And anything that I can do for you and your family, under the NCAA rules, of course.
Absolutely. I can't remember.
I'll always be here for you, man. I can't wait until, like you mentioned, I can't wait until you get married and I'm at that wedding. I can't wait until you have your first child and I get that birth announcement, man. That's what it's all about. And I appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you more, and thank you for being here, Coach.